So what can you expect as a client of Sewickley Financial? Well, likely something very different than what you've gotten in the past from any financial advisor, wealth manager, etc. This is not a firm whose goal is information. You will not be confounded by thick packets of information that can drive an investor to distraction. Instead, this is a firm geared to performance that recognizes the trust that its clients give to it. The first step with any client is to identify their risk profile. This typically involves a financial plan, not one of the 2-inch thick ones you've received in the past that can be a bit distracting and a little confusing. This is a concise analysis, typically 2 pages in length. There's a good amount of detail here, financial formulas, etc. But here's what you want to know. It is meant to be a living document that gets updated as circumstances change and provides guidance for how risk is managed. The prior slide showed the first page of the financial plan, basically the current conditions for the investor. If you notice, the bottom right-hand side of that page named a couple target retirement dates. The second page then reflects the results of those target retirement dates based upon various return and inflation scenarios. In this case, it is a look of 18 and 23 years into the future, depending on the scenario. The return assumptions are based upon various average long-term conditions in the equity and fixed income markets, with the spending power given nominally, and then the bottom half of the page, the spending power is given in real terms. In other words, discounted for inflation. As a client, you can expect to discuss performance as often as you'd like, but at a minimum each time we meet. This slide is an example of what every client sees at each meeting. Due to regulatory restrictions, we do not show actual numbers here, but the important point is that the overall portfolio is tracked for its return relative to the risk taken. See the green shaded portfolio return and the blue shaded benchmark return. That blue shaded benchmark return is weighted for risk according to the appropriate category weightings. As you can see, there's an approximate 81% allocation to US stocks, the light blue shaded, a 1% allocation to global stocks, the red shaded, and 18% allocated to cash. And in this case, the benchmark return is just over 86%. We compare the portfolio return to that number. On the far right, you can also see that investments are individually measured for their performance against their appropriate index, typically the S&P 500 for stocks. If you want performance, you have to measure it. You need to understand what's driving it, what's detracting from it, and the reasons. Unfortunately, the substitute for performance tends to be distraction. To my mind, that's why you hear so many ads geared toward making you feel secure, that there's a special bond between you and someone who hardly knows you, and why you receive investment updates that do little to tell you what's really going on with your money. Sewickley Financial is geared to performance, and it will always be priority number 1. I look forward to starting the conversation.